citizens of Milwaukee, you're listening to Nyumba Upendo, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. My name is Dr.Alisia, and I'm your host today, but I'm not alone. Believe it or not, it's about my baby brother, Quay Cool. Guess what? I got a substitute teacher in the house, and I'm so excited. Who's with me today?
Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Leah Knox of Knox Behavioral Health Solutions, KBHS for short, also Black Space HQ. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dr. Knox, it's so nice to have you here. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm happy to see you. But you know what, Dr. Knox, we could not make this happen without two special people in the room. Right out, Jermaine, right out. We love having you here.
All right.
Debo in the house. Thank you so much for making everything happen with us today. As you know, in the spirit of tradition of Nyumba Upendo, we typically do our P&Ps, and that's considered our prayers and our permission. We have been given permission from the elders to be able to speak, and we've got prayers because we don't come in here with just thinking that we could just do it alone. We need support, right? We need help. We need the prayers from the saints. And so we got double prayers today. My mom not only prayed, but also Quay Cool, he sent a prayer today. And I just wanted to tell you some of the things they both prayed for. They prayed that we remember the information that we were set out to provide today, and that it may support some of the folks in the listening audience today. He prayed for the studio and the equipment, that things will go smooth and well. And then lastly, he prayed for the blessings and the protection. This is a new one. He said the prayers and the blessings and the protection for all who work at WNOV. So, like this is not, it's not easy sometimes running the station, right? But he had prayers for all of them. So, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then finally, we typically dedicate the show to someone. Normally we do it to a particular person. And today I thought, I'm going rogue. When he's gone, sometimes I kind of go off the rail a little bit. So I decided, you're like, why not? Today I got a group of people that I'm doing a dedication to. And that group of people is, I'm calling it all the people that are just trying to get over the hump. Okay, I'm going to say that again. All the people that are trying to get over the hump. And if you don't know what I mean when I say get over the hump, those people that are getting ready to go past that most challenging moment in their life, right? Those people that are just almost there, but just waiting to just climb that, just get over that final hump. Now, I don't know if you know, but that came from a World War II pilots. They used to think about that. That's how this is originated. They were flying over the Himalayas, and that was that's a big, deep area, right? So that's how this term came again, getting over the hump. So I'm dedicating to show over all those that are trying to get over the hump, those that are going through those toughest times, and it's almost that task and a situation that they're almost there, but they're just not there yet. That could be physically for the people. Sometimes it's getting over that hump. Like I'm almost, that hip and that knee has been aching. I'm almost there. I'm almost, figuring out a way. Maybe it's some illness that has been provided for you that you don't know about. You're almost there. Maybe it's the weight that you've been trying to struggle. You're almost trying to get over that hump. I'm also thinking about the people that are dealing with spiritual getting over the hump. Maybe it's the folks that, are trying to find this relationship with their God, their higher power. Maybe it's some people that are looking for that purpose in their life. It may be someone that, they're trying to look for the right place to worship. They could be trying to figure out that.
Yes.
And then finally, I'm praying for the folks that are trying to get over that hump mentally. We know that there are many people that, lack maybe self-worth. They're almost there. They're almost there. Maybe we're praying for those people that may be dealing with some depression.
Yes.
Right. We want them to be able to get over that hump. This is dedicated to them. And then finally, we know that September is the National Suicide Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be praying for those folks that are almost over that hump and start thinking about, being affected by suicide. We want to make sure we do that. And so we dedicate this show to all those that are attempting to get over the hump. And so we know that Nyumba Upendo typically focuses in on mental health, mental wellness. And so I'm not alone. I got my co-host in, Dr. Leah Knox. And again, you've been dealing with this kind of stuff for a long time, getting over the hump and all of the mental health components. And so we're not alone. We've got some guests today. And so I'm going to tag it on to you to talk about what are we going to be digging into today and who's our guest for today?
Sure. So once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. So many people in our world, in our United States and in Wisconsin, period, have been dealing with depression, addiction issues, grief and loss, poverty, so on and so forth. And so many times we would love to see a therapist or a psychologist or psychiatrist or what have you, but at times we need someone in our lives who has actually been through some of these things. And so today we are celebrating and talking more about our peer specialists. We have two peer specialists here that are on the board. So wanting to make sure that I introduce them and then allow them to introduce themselves. So first we have Ms. Shirley Drake. And she is a general manager of Peer Specialist Limited, PSL, a peer run agency in Milwaukee. And then we also have Miss Mary Neubauer, certified peer specialist and co-chair of the Milwaukee Mental Health Task Force. So I'd love for them to tell us a little bit about themselves, where they're from, what they do in this world, and what got him here. So first, how about we start with Miss Shirley?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Shirley Drake. I am a peer specialist and a peer specialist trainer, certified in both areas. Um, the thing for me is being a peer specialist is extremely important to me. I have used those skills to possibly support and engage others in recovery. Um, that's pretty much mine.
So can I just
I
jump
could
in?
add a lot of
Yeah,
things.
well,
but
what I want to know, because
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
getting to know you. I just
Yes.
I know a little bit about you. I know about
Okay.
your daughter a little bit now, but I want to know, where are you from? Like, what's your birthplace and what your
my
family
birthplace?
structure? I want to just get to know you that way. Let the listener audience know a
Um,
little bit about that.
I was born in southern Missouri,
Oh.
about a small town of about 300 Black people. My parents were sharecroppers. Okay. I've gone through all the experience of, being in the field, you know,
Yeah.
chopping cotton, picking cotton, the
Oh.
whole bit. So I have firsthand experience in that area. I've lived in Milwaukee since 1975. So I've been here a long time. So that, I guess, essentially is my second home.
It is.
Yes, yes. I've been here long enough to call it home. I have two children, Kelly and Kyle. I have four grandchildren. At this point in my life, I live a very quiet life, focused on peace and wellness for myself.
I love that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you.
Interesting story. How about you, Miss Mary?
Yes, I am also a certified peer specialist. I previously worked for community advocates at Autumn West, and I worked with people that were unsheltered, were living in homeless situations, and dealing with mental health issues. I am from Milwaukee, lived, raised, born, and a byproduct of MPS,
I was gonna say, which high school?
Pulaski.
Pulaski High
okay.
School. That's Southside. Got
Yeah,
you. All right.
Southsider, and grew up in a middle class American family, and had two brothers. Middle child,
You're the
middle
middle
child
child.
syndrome. Yes, Middle
I believe
child
in that
syndrome.
sibling rank. I tell you.
Yes, I do too. I lived it, and didn't go to college right after high school. I worked for General Motors actually in the factory,
Mm.
and then about a year after, I started going to MATC, and my family didn't even know it. We'd eat dinner, and I'd go off to MATC and go to school, and they didn't know it for about a year and a half that I was going to MATC, and subsequently earned an associate degree in biomedical electronics, and eventually got a bachelor's in healthcare administration and a dual master's in social work.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I took a really interesting route in my education and got a variety of degrees.
Right.
So I really, as a peer specialist, being a peer specialist is all about having lived experience. I've lived with mental illness my entire life, and I've been in, I have 42 years of sobriety, and
Congratulations. Good for you.
one day at a time.
Yes, indeed.
And
Absolutely.
so I bring that to the table with me. And my goal with working with people with lived experience and working as a peer specialist is to be able to share hope, because often people that I worked with didn't have hope.
Yeah.
And I worked with people that were unsheltered based on my own experience with homelessness.
Got it. So we got a lot to dig into.
Yes, indeed.
A lot. But do you mind if I just start with the first question? Peer, I keep hearing this word, peer specialist.
Yes.
It's a new term to me, and it may be new to some listening audience members. Would you mind defining, like, what exactly does that role mean, and what is it?
Well, the role of a peer specialist, they encompass a wide range of activities, a wide range of interactions between two individuals who share a common mutual lived experience. And those experience areas could be mental health, substance use, or both. The role offers a level of acceptance, understanding, and validation that may not be found in other professional relationships. which is very, very important.
I love that.
And what are your thoughts as far as from the angle that you're coming from? What is a peer specialist? What does that mean to you?
What being a peer specialist means to me is having walked that walk, being able to share the mutuality, being able to understand where somebody else has been. My story is not exactly the same, but there's those commonalities. There's that understanding. There's the emotional connection that happens. Just taking an example, living with a mental illness, I may not have the same diagnosis or live with the same mental health condition as somebody else, but there are those similarities. There are those same types of struggles. There are the similar daily challenges, having to deal with relationship issues, having to deal with problems that may come up at work, problems that may come up in the academic situation, needing accommodations in school, all of those types of things, and dealing with life challenges and life obstacles, and being able to support someone. And I'm not the expert. I'm just someone to walk the walk with someone else.
Yeah, yeah, and that means a lot too. Especially, it's almost like you get some cred in that area. You know,
Yes,
the
life
street cred,
experience.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
so the street
Definitely
cred
is,
in that
right.
area, absolutely.
Definitely is.
Yeah, and so I hadn't heard of this term, but again, peer specialist. And so if you're in the listening audience and you may have questions, feel free to give a call at 414-444-5250. Again, that number is 414-444-5250. And so we're talking to two certified peer specialists in mental health. And so again, we started talking a little bit about that whole, walking the walk, that lived experience. I think each of us at the table can talk about something that we've lived and
Yes.
gone through. But then what I love about this is that we're taking that next step to say, I've gone through it. What might I be able to do? How might I be able to support someone else that has possibly gone through that exact same thing? So I don't know if there's anything, you sort of started off a little bit, Mary, talking a little bit about a few things that you've personally had lived experiences with that you've helped folks. You want to dig into that a little bit?
Sure. Like I stated, I've lived with mental illness my entire life. My initial diagnosis was bipolar 1. And as time went on, I started having auditory hallucinations when I was 19 years old. And I have an unusual hallucination. It's music. I typically don't hear voices.
Really?
And it's a very specific hallucination. So because of the hallucination and taking medications for that, my diagnosis was modified and changed to schizoaffective disorder.
Mhm.
And so that's my actual diagnosis at this point in time. And I do still hear music. I take a medication for it, and they're pretty subdued right now. But when my stress levels get higher, the music amplifies. I have more issues with it.
Sure.
It's more disturbing in my life, and it's more of a challenge. But it plays an active role in my life.
That makes sense.
And I also have PTSD and a post-traumatic stress disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Okay. So I'm going to stop you right there. We actually have a caller, and then we'll get back to you
Sure,
to talk
of
about
course.
maybe some lived experiences that
No
you'd
problem.
like to share as well. We have a caller on the line. Caller, do you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I do.
Good morning.
And thank you. And good afternoon. Good morning to you too. And to you, I got in late, but I didn't get your name. Could you please respect me to say your name?
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Leah Knox. Good to meet you.
And Dr.Alisia Knox.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so very much and for your guest. I just want to say thank all of you for being there. So good afternoon to all of you.
Well,
The
thank
guest.
you. Well, thank you for
Thank
your greeting.
you.
We really appreciate that. Have a good rest of the day and keep listening in.
No. What I was trying to say.
Oh, you got a question? Okay, okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry I took so long to say your greetings. My question is, when it comes to mental health, earlier today, we was talking on the radio station about 6 kids being locked up in a place, right? Excuse me. I don't know if you heard that or not,
Yes.
but there was a family that had kids in I don't know, a shelter place or something like that, whatever the case may be. Excuse me, because storage areas, that's not new. That is nothing new. That happened over the state of Wisconsin. When people are kicked out their house and stuff like that, they're trying to do their best to survive. They try to put their kids somewhere that they might be uh, irresponsible for leaving their kids with a younger person. I don't know if you heard that on the news or not. But my question is, when it comes to mental health, I don't know if that has anything to do with mental health or anything, so excuse me. But when people are desperate, they're trying to survive. When it comes to mental health, I don't know if it correlate or anything, but what would your response be if you had nowhere to go and you have nowhere to live, and you try to do the best with your kids and stuff like that? The first thing happened to you is being arrested, and your kid's been taken away from you, especially when you have a young child that's 2 months old. And I don't know, it just bothered me. It just bothered me because I've seen that.
Well, we thank you
And
for okay, sir. We thank you so
okay,
much for
can you give me a response?
okay. Thank you so much for your call.
And thank you for accepting my call.
Yeah, there's a couple different things you talked about. The homelessness component.
Yes.
Again, I don't know, Dr. Knox, if you want to like cover a couple things.
Sure. So thank you for your call. And the one thing that you mentioned was when a person or a family doesn't have a place to live, cannot meet their basic needs. And so what they may have is this storage unit or a car or what have you. One of the highest, if not the highest risk of mental health issues and challenges is poverty. And so it runs rampant within our society, and people do become desperate and they do what they believe they need to do at the time. Many folks do the best that they can. However, due to societal norms, that best may be in the face of law and illegal, so on and so forth. So getting them that help with specialists, with people who do understand the unhoused and what may happen, as well as some of the mental health challenges they may face, such as fear, extreme anxiety, nervousness, depression, and just desperate. You will do whatever you need to do to meet your basic needs. So those are some of the things that could come into play, but mainly in societal norms, there's some things that we may exhibit that we just have to make sure that we are answering to in our community.
I love that. Thank you so much. You know what it made me think about as we're talking to these two peer specialists in mental health.
Yes.
We talked about that whole lived experience. Who better to talk for what some of those folks to talk
Absolutely.
to that maybe that have experienced homelessness, unhoused experiences, right?
Exactly.
So that's why I think this role that you are like taking and really making your own is extremely important, because again, I want to listen to someone that has gone through that same thing with, because you not only are just trying to tell me something, you tell me about what you personally experienced, what you personally had harm or hurt from.
Right. The first thing you'll hear, if no one is you've not been through this, you've never been homeless before.
Right.
Well, we have peer specialists where they've lived those exact experiences and they're experts on their own lives and experiences. We would love for you to talk to one. Would you like to?
Right.
My lived experience is mental health and substance use.
Okay.
Okay. And in point of a point that Dr. Knox mentioned, just your basic needs being met. And if those things are not met, there is a high likelihood that you will have a mental health concern, and to cope with it, many individuals use substances. So it tends to be almost what I call a vicious circle. And when both areas are met by professionals or by peer supports, the likelihood of them being in recovery is greater. When I connect with individuals, I use those two areas to try and establish a relationship, and really to model that recovery is possible and you can make it. Not everyone goes down the same path. It doesn't take the same amount of time for every individual. It's what is uniquely them. and how they choose their pathway. It's not the same for everyone.
Yeah.
It could look similar, but not exactly the same.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So, what brought you both to this actual field itself? Like, I've gone through some stuff, but I didn't choose to go and be a peer mental special. Excuse me, a peer specialist.
Okay.
What actually was there a particular event, or is there something that brought you to this path that I want to be peer
Mhm.
specialist?
Good question.
I'll speak to that. I actually was involved in the grassroots of the peer specialist profession being founded in Milwaukee.
Oh.
So the peer specialist actually came out of the work of Dan Schuler, who's an administrator of Milwaukee County Behavioral Health Division, who was gained insight about the field at some national conferences in about 2002. He was inspired by the whole idea of peer specialist. And I was involved with the Office of Consumer Affairs at the Behavioral Health as a person with lived experience. We had some people that were going up on the units working with inpatients, and we had a group called the Impact.
I had to stop you right there. That's a cliffhanger for the audience. You hear the music? That means we got to take a break already. Time goes fast. I told you it goes fast. Hey, you're listening to Nyumba Upendo. We are excited to be here. Don't turn the dials. We are talking to two peer specialists, and we're really focusing in on that mental health. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after the break.
I'm Dr. Leah Knox, and I'm so happy to be here today speaking with two wonderful women. But first, let me make sure to reintroduce Dr. Alisia Moutry. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm happy that we're here together.
Same. So we were speaking before we left off to Mary, and she was speaking about her personal experiences, and we left with a cliffhanger. Would you mind continuing on?
What was that question though that we had for her? More about like how do like so she's doing this role as a peer specialist.
Yes.
And just in case some people just tuned in, she's a peer specialist. And I was just curious. There's many jobs and many roles that people can have, but I was curious about what brought you to let you know that this is what you were supposed to do. That's where you left us off, that cliffhanger.
Thank you.
Right. It's about the history. I got involved because I got involved with actually starting and being involved with the start of Peer Specialist in Milwaukee County. So it happened at the Milwaukee County Behavioral Health Division with Sue Schuler, who was an administrator there in 2002. And she piggybacked with the Department of Health and Human Services at Waukesha County, where her husband was the director of Health and Human Services, and with Joan Lawrence, who was then the executive director of Our Space, a mental health drop-in center in Milwaukee. And they wrote a grant with the medical college, and it was a Healthier Wisconsin grant, and they got a grant to start the Peer Specialist program. And there was a woman, Carmen Cerna, who had gone to Arizona to get trained as a peer specialist trainer just by happenstance. And she was interested in this as an individual, so she got trained and she got pulled into the picture. And so in 2004, the first training took place at Milwaukee County. And I went through the training in 2006 because I was in graduate school. So I was trained in 2006, and that's how it all started. And then Milwaukee County got involved at the state level with a group called the Recovery Implementation Task Force, and we helped spearhead the training that then became a statewide training. And we were involved in helping to establish the curriculum, and myself and other people from Milwaukee and around the state actually wrote the first test for a certified peer specialist. And I took the first test, and I have ADHD, and I'm not a good test taker. I didn't pass the first time I took it. I passed the second time I took it, but I did pass the certification.
Well, you didn't give up.
exam.
You didn't give up. I
didn't
love
give
that.
up.
I love that
Right.
And
right
I
there.
maintained my certification. I just recertified. So I just recertified for another 2 years.
And we're going to talk about that certification component in just a minute. But I do want to give Shirley an opportunity. Shirley Drake is in the studio today. What brought you to this path as well?
Well, when I was able to make being in recovery more important than anything else in my life, that is how I got into this role. I was offered the training back in 2010, became certified in 2011. And just to see the impact you can make on someone else's life, to indicate to them that they're not alone. They have other individuals they can reach out to support them in this journey. I became a trainer in 2018, 2019. And over the years, I've done maybe 20 trainings, 25 trainings. And
So you've conducted the trainings,
yes,
or
I
you've been a
conduct
part
the
of? Okay,
trainings.
nice.
I conduct the 52-hour curriculum.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. The thing is, there's nothing more gratifying to see an individual that you've been a part of getting trained, to see them go on to be certified peer specialists.
That's beautiful.
That's gratifying. If I could just speak to an earlier point, in this community, we've been peer supporters all the time, but this training takes that experience of being in the community and how you can hone that into performing this role that you can get employment from. You can get paid for something that you may already do in your community.
Now, I think some people's ears may be perked up when you said that, because there's already everyone in the listening audience, all of us in here have had something that we have dealt with personally. And so what you're saying is you've dealt with it. Now, let me show you and train you how to utilize that to support people and then get paid to do it.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? So can you talk about unless you have a question, Dr. Knox?
Oh, go right ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm just curious. Now you got my ears interested a little bit about, okay, so you're a peer specialist. What does that training look like? I heard you say something about you've done over 20 sessions, 52 hours. So I've gone through lived experiences. I want to be able to share that with someone. What could I do to become trained?
Okay. The curriculum itself is 52 hours now. It used to be 48. And as part of that curriculum, we all also go over boundaries, ethics, motivational interviewing, how to feel safe, the state resources that are available, etc. I don't want to take too much of the time
No, you're fine.
because it's going, it takes more than a couple of sentences
Mhm.
to really communicate what the training is about. And Mary mentioned certification. The certification exam is available after you've done the training, and those are offered periodically throughout the year.
And the
But
training
it's-
is 52 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
And after those 52 hours, you're taking the test. When do those 52 hours take place? Is it by a person's schedule? Is it at a certain location? Is it virtual? Can you speak on that as
Of
well?
course, the trainings are virtual right now. And of course, that has been since COVID. Prior to that, we were doing them in person. But yes, it is virtual. You can complete an application online from the state, which is the Wisconsin Employment Initiative for certified peer specialists, and then also the Milwaukee Peer Academy, which was established 2024. They offer trainings to individuals who are interested, and on their website, you can go through and express an interest to becoming a peer specialist, but then also get information on when the next training is. It so happens that we have one coming up in November.
Oh,
Okay. So there's still room for individuals to apply. They can go to the website of www.mkepeeracademy.org. And this training starts November 3rd.
so I got the most important question of it all.
Yes,
How much does it cost?
it is totally free.
Wait. Let's
Really?
rewind that
The
again.
training is totally
So
free.
wait a minute. So I've gone through this lived experience. I go through the training, 52 hours. I take the test and I pass the test. Maybe not the first time, but I may pass it,
Yes.
right? Then I'm able to actually be paid. And it doesn't cost me at all. It's totally free.
Yep.
And then I can get paid to support other people.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
And entry into the field with no prior job experience, but being a certified peer specialist starts anywhere between $18 to $25 an hour.
Stop it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you have an advanced degree and you have you have other job experience, the pay scale goes higher. So if you are a certified peer specialist and you have a bachelor's degree, your wage is higher. If you have a master's degree or a doctoral degree, your wage is even higher than that.
Wow. So can we get that website one more time, if you don't mind? Because
Of
there's some people
course.
listening saying, I've gone through some things and that may be something I'm interested in.
Of course. It is www.mkepeeracademy.org.
And remember, it's mental health or substance use. It's
Both.
not just mental health.
Mental health or substance abuse.
Right.
That's good to know.
It's a dual diagnosis. It's a co-occurring curriculum.
Absolutely. I love that.
I have a question focused on maybe certain levels. So are there different level or types of certifications due to the dual diagnosis criteria for peer specialists, or not a difference?
There's just one certification, and the test is written to address co-occurring dual diagnosis. It's all in the exam, and the curriculum addresses everything across the board. And that's one of the things that has been unique about the curriculum and the test in Wisconsin from the beginning, is that it addressed the dual diagnosis co-occurring and was looked at as a model for other states that put their curriculum and their tests together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Speaking of levels of certification,
Mhm.
speaking of levels of certification, when individuals go through their training and become certified, they have used that experience. I'm now aware that they can go to school. Either they want to be in human services or go in and get a bachelor's degree in social work. There are other individuals that choose to become substance use counselors. So it is a springboard for other opportunities that they want to consider. And then some just enjoy being a peer specialist, ongoing.
Yeah. Well, that part right there, like I'm
Yes.
at a phase in my life. I only like to be involved in things that either that I'm really enjoying or that I
Yes.
feel like I get some impact personally. Like I feel like
Sure.
I've done something.
Sure.
Do you
Yes.
mind sharing, maybe without talking about someone's name, but just a story or a time where you were in your role as a peer specialist that you felt the impact of your work?
I can go. The impact that I've experienced and how it relates to other individuals who've
Mhm.
gone through the training.
Or that you have supported that maybe
Yes.
from your lived experience.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. I've supported through the drop-in center at La Casa a number of individuals. So that is a different route instead of one-on-one
Oh,
peer support. Individuals drop in, you have discussions, you talk about job opportunities, you help them with resumes
oh,
and things like that. Um, Professional, interests, other professional interests. So
nice.
yeah. But it's seeing an individual, you see the light bulb come on. I can do this, I can go to school, I can do this or that. But that's where the impact comes.
I love that.
I've been able to maybe open a door that they've never considered because of their lived experience.
Yeah, so sometimes
Yes.
it's not just about the particular mental health issue
Right.
or the substance itself. It's like what happens afterwards. Because we know, as you
Exactly.
talked about, Dr. Knox,
Exactly.
the stress and the anxiety, those things can really be stifling, right? But
Exactly.
you're part of your support impact that has made you excited about your work is that you've been able to talk to someone,
Right.
support them, coach them
Right.
to see them move to that next level.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that. Do you
thank
happen
you.
to have anything, Mary?
Yeah, working at Autumn West, I had the opportunity to watch a number of people that went and eventually took the peer specialist training and not only took the peer specialist training but became employed and became
Oh,
Mhm.
employed and
Mhm.
became very successful. One individual went on to go to graduate school and was going to be a therapist working with children, and unfortunately um, passed away relative right during the COVID element of things during that pandemic, and wasn't able to live out her dreams,
Mm.
but was a very successful peer specialist and really did wonderful things and was made a big impact in the community in the time that she was a peer specialist. And another individual that I worked with at Autumn West um, is an amazing artist and has been able to do things and has now developed his own business, and he does a lot of lawn work.
Mhm.
And he just has he does a lot of shrubbery and bushes and trimming bushes, and the I have contact with him, and the accolades that he gets for the work that he does is so artistic with cutting shrubs and bushes, and the work that he does is just amazing. And I have other people that I've crossed paths with, and just to be able to see the growth and the success that people have in their lives and that they've moved forward is just is a blessing.
It is.
May I
I
ask
agree.
yeah, absolutely,
Mhm.
a professional and personal question for each of you, because you all have done so much and you have put your personal lives and lived experiences into what you've done. What supports do people most need when coming from a crisis, whether it's mental health, homelessness, addiction? In your professional and personal opinion, as a peer specialist, what do you think people most need?
I think it's the awareness of there is always not always, but there's someone there that can walk alongside you in
Mm,
your journey. The connection that a peer specialist has with a peer can be transformative. You know, um, also when an individual needs someone to talk with, who's having that challenge, either of those challenges, they can call. And like I said, they are being supported in their journey. They're not alone. A peer walks alongside the individual. Hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, yes.
Does that
Yes.
answer it? Okay. I would do, if it's okay.
Go right ahead.
Mary.
Oh, what I was going to say is to have that listening ear. And even though I'm not working as a peer specialist, I still volunteer at Autumn West and do peer specialist like things. I go in for the holidays and I do a campaign where I raise funds to be able to do a holiday gift giving there and provide a holiday dinner. And we do a thing that I instituted while I was there called the door decorating contest. And the CEO and the CFO come and actually judge the door
Oh, wow.
decorating contest. And we're able to raise some funds and give monetary prizes and for the residents. And so I've got the peer specialist is in my blood, and it's so fulfilling for me. I look forward to it every year, and I go subsequently throughout the year and just make contact with the residents there so they know who I am when I come in during the holidays.
I love that. I love the one comment that you made as well. Like the peer specialist in
It's
your
in
blood.
the
You're not
blood.
like hired to
Yes.
do it, but it's just in your blood.
Yes.
It's just something that you do. I
Yes.
feel like that's the same. I'm an educator. So it's like no matter where I go, I am always a teacher. My husband even says sometimes, this is not your classroom. I'm like, I can't help it. So when you're a peer specialist, it's in your blood. You can't help it. We actually have a caller. Caller, welcome to Nyumba Upendo. Do you have a comment or a question?
Hi, I have a two-part question.
Okay.
First of all, how are you ladies doing today?
Good.
Good,
Thank you.
thank
So we're good.
you.
Thanks for calling.
Oh, thank you for having me, taking my call. So, Mr. McMurtry here. My question, first off, and this is really, okay. So, for instance, people or individuals, male or female, when they make these decisions to change their sex, um, would you agree that this is a mental health issue? Is this a personal issue? And or how would you, uh, you know, kind of describe that thought or that type of issue that person is going through when they're not comfortable with the sex that they are? And my second thought, when you have we got so much political violence in our country, and then now let's look at the other spectrum. The individuals that's committing these murders and what have you, would you also agree that there's some, because a lot of these folks come up and say that, that they were fascists, they were this, they were that, they were this type of individual, and I didn't agree with their ideology in terms of what they stood for, just like the recent killing of Charles Kirk. And that's kind of my thoughts. So I want to know on both of those about these people that change over to be transsexuals, and then also are these murderers dealing with some type of mental health additionally. And I will go ahead and hang up and let you go ahead and dive into that for me, please.
Okay, we thank you so much, caller. We really appreciate it. And guess what? I know some of you are ready for that answer, but guess what? I hear the music in the back. Time for a break again. So 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
AURN News. I'm Jamie Jackson, and a survey from Pew Research Center looks at how Americans view God when one presidential elections. Most respondents said they don't believe God should be president. In the case of Donald Trump's 2024 win, just 4% said God should him because of his policies. About a third said his election was part of God's plan, not necessarily approval of those policies. Nearly half said God doesn't get involved, and 14% said they don't believe in God at all. When asked about Joe Biden's 2020 victory, only 2% credited to God's approval of his policies. The break
So WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. And prior to the break, we had a question from Minister McMurtry. He talked a little bit about how the things are coming up around transgender, they're coming up around murderers, and he just kind of made a connection to saying, like, how does that impact and how does that have to do with mental health? And so we wanted to just make sure that we honor his question and thanking him for his time to call in. Dr. Knox, I'm going to lean on you as our mental health expert in the room today to just offer your thoughts.
Absolutely. So thank you, Minister, for asking that question. When different things go on in our community, such as LGBTQIA plus issues, transgender, as well as someone committing a murder, groups of people in the shooting, so on and so forth. The first thing that people tend to say is, oh, they must have a mental illness. Oh, there's something wrong. Something must have been gravely wrong in their heads and in their minds. When in fact, many times people are individuals and we can never know truly what is going on in their heads. We cannot know that, oh, because a person is mentally ill or experiencing those challenges, they committed this action because of the mental illness or the mental challenges they are facing. But what we can say is, as a result of the murders, as a result of people making decisions that will either help or hinder themselves, that is something that can be dealt with on a mental level, whether it be therapy, whether it be talking to a peer specialist, whether it be making sure that they are in the right place, whether they are changing their gender or absolutely talking to someone about the anger that they feel before they even commit any type of crime, like taking of a loss of a life.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate having you in the room to be able to just address again just the surface of some things that come up. And so, caller, again, we thank you. Today we are talking about the peer specialists regarding mental health, and so we do have two guests, Shirley Drake and Mary Neubauer here, two certified peer specialists. And as you are listening, you may be thinking, like, maybe this may be something that I'm interested in. Maybe I could use the support of a peer specialist. When we talk about the transgender person, maybe there's somebody that could use someone to talk to in regards to that, or somebody that maybe has committed a crime or thinking of committing a crime. So I'm just curious if in fact we have listeners right now that are listening and thinking in regards to mental health concerns, in regards to addiction. If I'm interested, or if someone's interested in having the support of a peer specialist, what can I do? How do I get in touch? How do I go about getting the support of a peer specialist?
Well, there are various programs in Milwaukee County where peer specialists are dedicated to that function. As Mary was speaking earlier about the Office of Consumer Affairs, when the Behavioral Health Division was a structure out there, that's a way that individuals who may be hospitalized could receive peer support. There are also community-based programs that offer peer support to individuals. There's a CCS, Comprehensive Community Services. There's also various areas within WCS, Wisconsin Community Services, that offer peer support. And not only peer support, you can be trained to become a parent peer support. That's another pathway to employment.
Okay, you got to tell me a little bit about that. A parent peer support, what does that mean?
A parent peer is a mother or father who has dealt with their child having a disorder.
Got it.
Okay. And what that parent peer does is support the mother, the father, in helping them to achieve their goals, helping them to experience a port of wellness or point of wellness that they can productively support their families.
I love that.
Okay.
So you are not alone. There is someone that can walk this journey with you.
Yes, there's a peer for that.
There you got it. Mary, I saw you sit up like I can tell you got something to say. I read body language, honey. Let's go. What are you thinking?
There are private mental health facilities that also use peer specialists, like Aurora and places out there. Because to get services through Milwaukee County, you have to be Medicaid eligible.
Thank you. That's important to know.
So it's a luxury to be Medicaid eligible when it comes to getting a peer specialist. People think it's a detriment to have Medicaid, but with respect to peer specialists, it's a luxury to have Medicaid to be able to get a certified peer specialist.
So you mentioned
For-
Aurora. There's
Aurora
other people.
in their AOTA programs, and I don't know if it's in their mental health programs, but they do utilize peer specialists as well.
Okay. There are also residential centers
Yes.
that
Mm.
have peer specialists.
Oh,
Okay.
Courts
Yes.
use peer specialists.
Yes.
who? What you
The
said?
courts.
The courts
Yes.
use. Oh,
Yes.
I also believe W-2 programming and
Yes.
things like that. They use peer specialists
Peer
as well.
specialists. Some of the group homes use peer specialists. So there are a variety of different places
Mhm.
where there's outreach of peer specialists, and they're we're kind of moving backwards, but there's peer specialists that are being used in primary care and other places.
okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Not so much in Milwaukee, but in the national movement.
Well, I'm glad to hear
Okay.
it's not just one area, one
Right,
location.
right.
There's
No.
many different areas. And so that makes me think back about when you talked about being trained.
Mhm.
So if I go, if I move forward and I go through the training, the 52 hours, and I take the test and I pass the test, there's a lot of different options for me to get employed
Yes.
as well, too.
Yes.
There-
If I could,
You were going to
mention
add
real
something
quick, I'm
about
sorry,
the
add
training,
something
too.
real quick. For those who have been justice system involved in re-entering
Mhm.
community,
Oh.
we also have peers for that.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
hard.
There's a specific program at WCS that offers peer support based on that. So
Right. So is there like a whole list of topics or areas of impact that people would be able to call and say, oh, I've gone through that. I've gone through that. Can I have a peer specialist for that? Or is there is there like some categories, or you just come with what you are dealing with and you will find the person to support them? Is that how that works?
well, the category is based upon what they present. If it's only mental health, we'll try and match them with a peer
Got it.
who's only dealt with that challenge. If it's co-occurring, we can match a peer specialist based upon that experience.
And it depends
Yeah.
on what you're, as Shirley was saying, it would depend on what program you qualify for.
Oh, that too.
Right.
Okay. So if I am someone that have gone through some lived experiences and I think that this may be something that I would enjoy doing, can you talk a little bit real quick again about you were talking about the 52 hours and is everyone chosen? How you go about getting paid and how I might go about actually taking the course?
Okay. That's a good question, Doctor. The thing about the training, we accept 50 applications.
Okay.
We choose approximately 25 individuals to be
Oh.
interviewed. We interview those individuals and we come up with a class size between 18 and 22.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a screening process. With the upcoming training, we are they will be co-enrolled into Employ Milwaukee.
Oh.
Okay, which is they provide training and employment opportunities for those impacted by the opioid crisis.
Oh.
Okay,
Love it.
and being it a private, this would be considered a private training. Those can be employed by the or many other agencies within the community.
I just wanted to take this moment to just thank both of you for coming in and taking the time out of your day to share about being a peer specialist, the impact of it, how one can go about becoming a peer specialist, how someone can actually receive the support necessary. I really just thank you for that. Just remembering that if you are online, if you are interested, you can look at www.mke.academy.org. So feel free to look that up. And then, of course, I can't close the show out without thanking my lovely co-host, Dr. Leonard. Leonard, you are welcome anytime, every time. I'm just so happy to see you again. So good to have you on. I'm going to let you leave with some closing words as we close our show.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming. And those who feel that they need someone to talk to, those who feel they want someone that's familiar, peer specialist might be the way to go. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day.
Listening to Nyumba